Hello. All right. So let's get started. Today is our first video for September 21st, the beginning of our 2021 school year. My name is Mr. Matthews. You should be here for Living Environment. And what I want to do today is I want to go over the basics over what you should expect, the things that we're going to be doing, how it's going to work. So for normal class and attendance, I need people to log on. I need to see your face. I need to be able to hear or see that you're responding to know that you're actually live. That'll be our basic for attendance. Most of our work will be on Schoology, which I should be able to show you if everything works right about now. So here's Schoology. And here you can see we've got everything listed by unit. If we go into our first unit where we're starting, you'll see it then broken down by week. We are in the 21st through the 25th, week 1. And in here, you'll find everything that we're going to do. Your copy of the PowerPoints, links to videos that we're going to use, and our folders for our labs. Each folder has both the file for the lab and it has the turn-in form that we're going to be using. So you should be able to find everything that you need right there in Schoology. At the top, you may notice it says important links. And clicking on that will bring us to my YouTube playlist where you're seeing this video. At the bottom is the link to our Google Meet class that I'll be using every day for every class the whole time. If you have any questions or you need to ask me something, check the envelope that you see me pointing at here up in the corner to send me a message, please. It'll be the quickest and the easiest. All right, so let's get into just the basics so that you guys understand. This is biology. It's called Living Environment, but it's really just biology class. Now, I like people to know a little bit about me so that you guys understand where I'm coming from and why you're going to see some stuff in here. I'm a huge nerd, big gamer. This is me at Blizzard's headquarters in California, and I'm walking around this 12-foot tall giant bronze statue of an orc riding a direwolf because I've played World of Warcraft for its entire life and continue to do so. I play lots of other games too, so don't be surprised if you see images from games or me incorporating in different memes based on games. I love that stuff. It's kind of part of who I am. And in the same idea, I like to warn everybody about this because this is what I hope nobody ends up at. This is the lollipop of mediocrity. It says, beware, lick it once and you'll suck forever. Now, the idea here is pretty basic, but if your goal is to just get a 65, just enough to pass, that is going to be a pattern that might develop. And the longer that pattern goes for, where you're doing just enough to pass, the harder it is to break out of it. And then when you are out of high school, you're out into the real world for jobs, college, things like that, it becomes twice as hard to really start to excel. For mediocre, there's the bell, for mediocrity and the people who exhibit it, there's nowhere else to go. There's no up, there's no advancement, there's no reward. You've got to be above and beyond if you want those things. So I just like to warn people, don't get too easily fooled and pulled into this trap because it will not benefit you in the long run. Now, how can I help people to avoid this? Well, first of all, we've got to make sure that we're meeting the state requirements. Passing the class, which means greater than 65, passing the regents, greater than a 65. But this one that you see in yellow is the kicker. And this is the hard part that stops most people, because in order to even take the regents, let alone pass the class, you must complete and submit 1,200 minutes of accepted lab work. Now, why that's important is because a lab should take a certain amount of time. Maybe it's 40 minutes like this one, maybe it's more or less. but you take longer on it, it doesn't count for the longer time period. It still counts for the amount of time that it should take. So even though you spent 240 minutes on it, it still only counts for 40. And the state has the right to say, we want all of John Smith's labs, and I have to send them. If they review your labs and they determine that, whoa, these two, we don't think he did well enough, we're not going to let you count them. If that drops you below the 1,200 minutes, then you can't take the Regents, you can't pass the class, and you're kind of stuck to repeat it. So it's really important that we go above and beyond, that we don't settle for mediocre, that we get our labs done, we get them right, we get them turned in so that they count for lab time, because if they're not acceptable enough, they don't count for anything. In order to help this, I will be assigning no homework this year except finish your labs. Additionally, I like to kind of focus our classes. So the slides may have a lot of different stuff on them, but I'm not asking you to write down all of it. The white text is flavor text. It's just background to help clarify things. You don't need to write it down. The yellow stuff, that's the core concepts. That's the important things that you're going to need to do. And the red text is the super important stuff that we're going to see pop up again and again and again. So I'd like people to write that down and like underline it or highlight something like that. What that means is that if a slide looks like this, your notes for this whole page will only take into account the red and the yellow. So it would look kind of like this. It's easier for people to do well when they know what they should be focused on. So I try to do this in all of our notes. Now, beyond that, the rest of the class is going to be pretty straightforward. We'll meet for about 15 to 20 minutes at the beginning of every bell. I'll take attendance. I'll go through whatever presentation I need to do, whatever discussions we need to have. Maybe I'll show a video or something like that to help keep us in mind and engaged and working towards that goal. And then I will release students to go do whatever it is. Maybe it's labs. Maybe it's other classwork that I'm asking for. For instance, today, day one, my task for everybody is go find and watch 2 videos that are based on science. Now, if you don't know where, I have a couple different options here that my chair clearly erased. SciShow, Crash Course, PBS Eons, Tier Zoo. There's a lot of different choices to make. I just want people to get themselves involved with the science, and then we'll work on the rest. So hopefully this helps for anybody that may have missed class or needs a quick review. I'm Mr. Matthews. This is Living Environment, and we are going to be having quite a ride this year as we try to figure this out. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.